Good evening, everyone. Felipe here again from Fenriz Gym, together here with Dania. This week we're doing something different. We're going to work with some basic techniques that you probably know or have done before, or you think you know, but most likely you don't know all the details involved. And what we're going to do is show those some of those positions and do a small breakdown of them so you guys can fully understand how the position works, sometimes why this position sometimes doesn't work. So today, Dania is helping me here doing the single leg takedown, which is a very common takedown. It happens every time in Jiu-Jitsu matches, in wrestling matches, in MMA fights. So you see that going on every time. So basically, the position works. A little bit here, Dania, please. So first, I'm going to engage, controlling my opponent's leg. As I have the leg control the hip, turn to the side, got the takedown, and now I can start working on my opponent. So when you look like this, it took me, I don't know, a few seconds to do it, but it is important for us to understand why the position worked, what did I do in order to do this position. So what is important first? To make sure that you guys have the control of the leg. I talk about control every time. You guys can even do a drinking game every time I say the word control. You're going to be pretty dry by the end. But it is important to understand how the control is going to work here. Because let's say that I have Dania's leg grabbed here. I have the control, but my pressure is very weak. So even though I have this control, I can walk around here with Dania during the entire area, bring her back. She's not falling because she was still able to hold her balance. She had one leg. I wasn't putting enough pressure, so she was still able to balance herself on one leg. And another thing that is important is how am I going to have access to this leg? Because I see a lot of people doing this. They're here, they try to grab the leg, they lower themselves, and they try to bring the leg to them. And I say this every time. I know it's clear, but I'm way stronger than Dania. Even though I'm stronger than Dania, if I just try to collect her leg like this, it's not going to work. Because she put her, first, legs are stronger than arms. That's the basic. Second thing, if she's putting her entire weight here on this leg, the one that I'm trying to grab, it's not going to work. So what is important for us? Instead of trying to pull your opponent's leg to you, make sure your opponent brings their weight to the other leg. What I mean by this, I'm going to show both sides, all right? So if I'm here with Dania and I want to grab this leg, I want to make sure that her weight is here. So then this leg becomes light and I can grab it. So what I'm doing, I'm stepping forward, hitting her body with my body. So I'm going to be here, and I'm going to do this. Now, her weight is on this leg right here, and I'm simply keep walking forward, grabbing the leg, and keeping this control. I'm going to go to the other side so I can look at you. So, again, I want this leg right here. In order to get the control of the leg, I need her weight to be on the other leg. So what I'm doing is I'm stepping forward, and I'm hitting her body. My arm is already here. As I keep walking forward, her leg is already with me, and I can get the control, and now I'm able to work here with the takedown. So this is very important. When you want to engage the leg, don't pull it, because once more, I can use my both arms. If none is committed in keeping this leg control, it's never going to work. But if I move forward, now I got the control of the leg and I can start working on my takedown. Another thing that is important is that I keep myself connected. That means shoulder and hips working together. So I'm not doing this because if I try to do this, she's going to step back with this leg and I'm not going to be able to get the control. Even if I move forward, she's going to keep moving the hip and it's not going to work. So make sure, people, I always talk about this. Jiu-Jitsu is supposed to be an unfair fight. What I mean by this, I am putting my entire body here. Okay? And that's why I am able, I almost threw Dania on the wall, right? This is not normal. Okay, guys, we're just training. Sometimes I get overexcited. But the idea is that I put all of my power on that limb so I'm able to control. So this is very important when we're talking about single leg. Make sure you get this control. We were working a lot with this drill right here. I was going 1 and 2. Why did I go 1 and 2? Because if Dania realizes that I'm going for this leg, sometimes as I engage, she's stepping back. And now I'm gonna go with the other and get the control that I need. So it's important to work both legs because she's going to be hiding her leg like this. If Dania is trying to grab my leg here, I'm not gonna give it, but the other one is available. So now she's able to grab my leg and start working. So this is very important when we're talking about control. First, being connected body, and make sure, guys, that you bring your weight on the opposite leg, so the leg that you want is really light for you guys to grab. Another thing that is important when we talk about control is not just the control of the leg. I have to make sure that I have the control of her upper body as well. Because let's say that Dania grabbed my leg, but she kept her head really low. So she has a good control of my leg. She's all connected, but look how much space do I have right here. If I have all this space, I'm gonna start pushing her head away. And here, good luck for her to get a takedown here because she lost the entire pressure. And on the video I showed, also a video before, I explained how strong I am with my arm stretch. Try to take me down here, Dania. Try to move. Okay, it's not gonna work. Very different is if she engages here. No? Look how her head is also all here close to my chest. Now for me to push her head away is very complicated. And this is very important because now she has a control of my upper body. If I try to push myself, she's gonna fall. If I try to smash her, she's gonna fight against. So here, I'm trying to push her away, but I'm not strong enough to do that. And she has a really good pressure and she's gonna be able to take down. So make sure, guys, that you have a control of the upper body. Sometimes we're in the gi. And the gi is a very useful way to get the control of the upper body. I'm just gonna pause a second. If you guys have any questions at any point, write on the chat. When I finish this, I'm going to answer all of them, okay? Don't be shy, ask anything you want, preferably regarding this position that we're talking about. So, continuing here. So, okay, so we're talking about the control of the upper body using the collar. A good way that I have to control the upper body is making grips on the collar. If I have this control right here, Dania is gonna have a really hard time posturing up, right? So if she's here having a hard time posturing up, I have the control of the upper body. And when I engage for the single leg, and again, people, I'm not trying to grab the leg. It's not gonna work. I'm gonna lower myself, grab the leg, and push forward. And here, people, if I have the control of her collar, try to come up, Dania. She's not gonna be able to do that. And I'm gonna be able to keep my head low, and I can work the single leg here in this position, okay? No gi, you're not gonna have this, all right? So make sure that in the no gi, turn around, Dania. In the no gi, I wanna have my body straight. I wanna be here with my opponent, like this, okay? I'm here with my ear on her chest, all right? In the gi, I can also do that, nothing wrong with that, but I got another option. If Dania has a control of my collar right here, she's gonna have this control, shoot. And since I can no longer posture up, I'm no longer able to push her away, and she can still work here to try to take me down. So those points are very important when we're talking about single leg. It's not just the control of the leg. You have to be able also to make sure that your opponent cannot push you away, doesn't have space to do that and free themselves from the position. All right? And now we're going to go to the last part of the position, which is getting actually the takedown. How do I take my opponent down? Because, again, sometimes Dania can do everything correct. So she shoot. Okay, she has the control. She has the control of my upper body. And now we're here. Okay? So, important to keep the leg trapped. Okay, people? So Dania is doing a pretty good job keeping her knees together. So I cannot free my leg. So this is a very good detail as well. When you have the single leg, make sure that your opponent cannot free the leg. Because if your opponent can free the leg, now I can go for a takedown right here. I'm not going to talk too much about this. Just make sure that small detail, when I engage, I keep my opponent's leg trapped between my legs so my opponent cannot get out here. See? I'm not even doing much. I'm just keeping my knees together and, of course, increasing my control of the upper body. So, coming back, Dania shoot. Okay, grab the collar, pull down. She shoots. She has the control. So now, Dania has done everything correctly. But if she just tries to push me away, move. I'm able to keep my balance, all right? Because she's not controlling this leg, and since she's pushing me towards the direction of the leg that I have free, I'm not comfortable, I'm not happy, but I'm balancing myself here. So Dania gets to have two options right here, okay? If she is, come back. Okay, so if she has this control, one option she has is to control this leg as well, so she can go on her knees, grab my ankle, push forward and take me down. If she traps this leg and push, I can no longer hop and I'm gonna fall, all right? Or the option that I like better, which is bringing your opponent to the side where the leg is trapped. We posted today a video about sweeps. And Eduardo, if you're watching this, I know that you want the berimbolo thing, don't worry, it's coming, okay? But this week I talk that we're gonna bring our opponent to the same side where we have the limb control. If we have one arm, we're gonna throw our opponent over this arm. If we have the opponent's right leg control, we're gonna bring our opponent over his or her right leg. So that works similar when we're talking about single leg. So far, we're working in a scenario where Dania has my right leg control. So if she tries to push me towards my left, she's going to have a harder time. So the better option for her is to bring me over my right leg. So what she can do, she can start getting a control of my hip. She's going to circle, and she can start grabbing here, okay? She's going to have a good control of my belt. And from this position, she just has to rotate herself towards the direction where I can no longer balance myself. Here, see, my leg is controlled, my hip is controlled. She turns, and I fall because I can no longer use my leg to pose. All right? So, yeah. So again, we're here, right? Dania shoots. She has my leg trapped. And now she's doing a good job. She's keeping her head up high, so I can no longer push it away. She made a control here on my belt, and she already moved behind my hip. From this position right here, it is very complicated for me to free myself because she's already controlling my hip. All right? So as she circles towards my right leg, I have no limbs to balance myself. She's already moving towards side control, and she's going to have a good position. So what is important for us, people? To make sure that you have a good control, not just from the leg, but also from the upper body. Because like I said, if the upper body is free, I'm going to be able to push my opponent away. There's no more takedown going on, okay? So have the leg control. You can either control the other leg and make your opponent fall, or circle towards the side where you have the control. So just to illustrate what I'm saying, right? Let me show once more. So if I want to control my opponent's leg, first thing that I want to do is remove the weight from the leg that I'm engaging, right? So if I want this leg, her weight has to be here, right? So I have to push. Every time I push, this leg starts to get lighter. That's what I want. Of course, this is never going to work in a fight, right? But as I hit her, I have the control. One thing that is important for me is to keep my head up. If my head is down, she's going to push. And realize I'm using all of my strength. Her arm stiff like this is keeping me from getting close to her. And now she's getting out, right? So as I engage, boom, head up, looking forward, okay? Have the control. I have the control. Now I want to take Dania down. If she has this leg free and I move, she's going to keep moving. So let's come back. So I want to make sure I have the control of the other leg. So here, I'm going to kneel. And now I'm able to take her down. Okay, because since I stop her from moving towards this direction, it is okay for me to put the pressure. Option number 2, the one I like more. Okay? Instead of fighting my opponent to a situation where my opponent can stable him or herself, I'm just going to bring my opponent to a situation where my opponent can no longer be stable, right? So I engage, I have the control of the leg, control the hip. I step, and here, people, I'm just going to circle towards the leg that I have trapped. And now I already end up on a really good position to move to side control. Felipe, I tried the first one because I liked it better, and it didn't work, and now I end up in a bad position. So, talking about this variation. If one doesn't work, the other one is going to be available. Okay? What I mean by this, let's say, especially Dania, she's smaller than I am. She has shorter arms. So she grabs my leg. She goes for the first one, trying to grab this leg. So she kneels, and I do this. Okay? So now, especially if we're doing no gi, there's no pants for her to grab. She's not going to be able to reach, right? But if I open my leg so much, I talk about this when we talk about days, the heavier I get with my hips, the lower I get with my hips, the more I sacrifice my mobility. So even though I manage to stay stable, my mobility right here is pretty bad, okay? So since I open up this position, she cannot grab this leg anymore. But if she pulls my belt down, I'm gonna fall because I can no longer move, and it's super easy for her to just bring my butt down, and I'm going to end up on the ground either way. So I'm going to show again from another perspective. So Dania shoots. She has the control of the leg. She tries to reach the other leg, and I open up my space so she can no longer grab. But now, since I open up my hips, my legs so much, my mobility is down. If she grabs my belt and bring my butt down, now I can no longer be stable, and I'm going to end up on the ground, and she's going to score the takedown. Okay? So those are, of course, guys, we have, when we talk about single leg positions, we have a universe of variations, okay? We can talk from the guard. I'm focusing more on the takedown right now. What is important for us, guys, is to have those concepts in mind, okay? So I'm going to repeat it again so it is clear, because I talk too much. Actually, I'm taking this time to talk, right? Nobody can shout at me. You can rant, but nobody can complain. So I can use Dania. But okay, she married me for a reason. She likes to hear me talk. So, so again, it doesn't matter how I'm going to control the upper body. I have to have the control of the upper body. So if I'm shooting, again, I want to have the control of the leg. I have to put her weight on the opposite leg. So I want to control the left, her weight has to go to the right. So as I engage, boom, I push her. As I push, now I have a really good control of the leg, and I have her weight on the other leg. Hand with hand, so she cannot break my control. And this is a good detail, people. Normally, the hand that is on the bottom is going to go above the other. Okay? I like to have this control because if I have the other way around, she can grab my wrist, pull, and she breaks my grip. If it's on the other way around, she cannot break because my hand is hidden underneath her knee. So I'm going to have this control right here, and I'm going to be able to secure the position. Controlling the upper body here with my ear so I can take her down. So option number one, I kneel, grab her ankle, and now I can push forward. She's going to fall. I'm going to have the takedown. Option number two, I engage, have the control, keep the control of the leg, keep looking forward, and I switch. I grab the knee, I grab the hip, and now I'm just going to circle towards the leg that I have trapped to bring her down and up on the side control. I try the option number one. I shoot, I go, she defends. Grab the hip or the belt, make her sit, and I'm going to have the takedown. Variation to this, we're working with the gi. So if we're working with the gi, I don't need to be all the way up. I can simply keep the control of the collar, and this is going to be enough for me to work. So I'm going to be here. If I want that leg over there, people, I can pull and make her step. And now, same thing. I'm not pulling the leg. I'm lowering myself, pushing until I get the control. Okay? Have the control here with the collar. I keep the collar all the way close to me. If I let her posture, she's gonna be able to push my head away, and I no longer have a single leg. So the entire time that I'm here, I'm pulling her head down so she cannot posture up. And here again, I can either kneel and grab the ankle or grab the hip and take it down. Okay? One last thing. I forgot to talk about this because this is kind of something really basic, but it's very important, especially if you guys are really in the beginning. One thing that you should be careful about is where your head is going to be positioned. Single leg, your head is always in. Okay? What I mean by this. Then it has she shoots. She has my leg control. If her head is on the outside, now she's giving everything I want to get a guillotine right here. Okay? So head in. In a competition, if you shoot a single leg with your head out, you're going to get a penalty. You, person who's shooting for the position, okay? You're going to get a penalty. All right? Because the problem is there's a technique that people used to do where they were dragging people's head down on the floor with the control of the belt, and people were falling with their heads and hurting their spine. So the rules were designed in a way to prevent that situation from happening. So now you're not going to get disqualified. But if I shoot a single leg like this with my head out, the referee in a competition is going to stop the fight, award me a penalty, and I'm going to start over. And in a self-defense situation or an MMA match, which those situations are not going to work, there's no one to give you penalties for stuff like this. The guillotine is there. Okay, so watch your heads. Head in. It doesn't matter if I'm doing from the guard, I'm here, and I'm going to the single leg, my head is in. Okay, because I want to protect myself from the guillotine. All right, so that's a very important detail as well for us when we do this single leg. Okay, is there any exceptions for the head? I can move my head if I'm taking my opponent down. That's the only exception. Okay, if we're talking about the rules. So just to sum up, okay, with the head thing. So switch the legs on. So if I'm here with Dania and I have her leg controlled, if I move my head out to take her down, that's okay. Nobody's going to penalize you for this. Okay, this is another technique that we can use. I'm not going to show this today, otherwise it could be too long, could be too much. Okay, but
for the shooting that is matter.
Yeah, not for the shoot. For the shooting and for holding. I'm not allowed to hold the single leg with my head popping outside. Okay, if I shoot here, have the control of the leg, and I move towards the side where I have the leg with my head out, that's fine. Okay, and the concept behind this is the same concept that we talked about before. I'm bringing my opponent over the leg that I have control. So it's the same. So I'm just pushing down with my shoulder. If I can demonstrate here with the hand, I will be controlling the leg. I was putting the shoulder on the knee, taking her down like this. Okay? So in a single leg situation, I would be here, pop, shoulder down, and I have the single leg to take down. Either way, it's also a very valid way to take down. Wrestlers do that a lot, right? And in this case, if you guys do that in a tournament, it's all good. Okay, no worries. So, Kat has a question. There was a drill where we turned the corner. Let me understand, Kat, but you're talking about the low single. So the low single is another situation that we can work. I'm not gonna go into details, but it's a situation that I'm going to be really far away from my opponent, especially here, and I'm gonna shoot here, okay, all the way down. So as I'm here controlling her ankle, I'm gonna bring her foot to me, push forward here with my shoulder, and I'm gonna take her down. And this is a situation we can work with that. I can show you that with more details. But this is a situation that we're gonna work when we have this really big distance, right? In which I'm gonna lower myself, and I'm going to shoot, putting pressure here with my shoulder on my opponent's shin, and I'm going to bring her down. There was a drill where we turned the corner. You mean this one, Kat? That I went to the side like this? Is this the one that you're talking about? If it is, like I was here, right? The drill that we did last week, that we were here and we came up. Is that the one that you're talking about? Please write in the comments. Okay, so this is a different situation here. This is a situation that Kat is asking, in which I'm gonna go to the side, I'm gonna circle my opponent's leg, so I'm gonna be here, I'm gonna go next to my opponent, and same thing, I'm gonna drive my opponent towards the leg that I don't want to control. All right, so I wanna make my opponent heavy on this leg to control this. So how is this going to work? As I grab, I go to the side. I come up, and I'm pushing my opponent to the side, okay? So once more. So the drill, instead of bringing my hand on the floor, I'm already bringing my hand here. And at the same time that my hand goes, my knee drops. I'm here next to my opponent. I use this leg to drive myself up. And I'm gonna have the same situation, pushing my opponent to the side and up on the single leg.
So instead of bringing my leg to you, you go around.
Yeah, I go around. So again, in front of me so people can see. So I'm going to drive my knee, and I'm here. And now as I come up, I'm already gonna go to the single leg and get the takedown, okay? This is also a valid position. So it's it's a different entry. Also works really well, but thanks for the question. It's a different situation, but the concept is the same, right? The idea is that what I want to do is push my opponent to one side, so I can control the other. If I want to grab my opponent's right leg, I'm gonna go to the side. So the other way, when I was facing my opponent and I was engaging here, I was pushing my opponent towards this side so I can lift the leg, okay? If I'm circling, the concept is the same. I want to bring my opponent in that direction over there, end up on the side, come up here already with a single leg with the control, so I can work for the takedown. Okay? Same concept, just from a different angle, right? All right, so Dania is making an observation here, which is important. Distance, right? I'm gonna make a video about distance, so it's going to be a mix. Some videos very basics like distance, and the others, since Eduardo asked, is going to be getting both. If you guys want to, Kat, thank you very much for the question. If you guys have any other question, just right there, okay? So Dania was asking me about the distance, right? So as a rule, I'm gonna try to keep this one arm distance. If I can reach my opponent's shoulder, I can engage. And I use the same rule for double leg. If I can reach my opponent's shoulder, I can shoot for the double leg. So when we're talking about distance, Felipe, how do I know if shooting for the single leg is a good option? This is a good measure. If I can control my opponent's shoulder, if I have this control right here, I'm already engaging, okay? As I take the step forward, I'm already across my opponent's hip, and that's where I want to be because I want to engage my opponent here. So if I'm talking here one shoulder distance, as I hit, I'm already grabbing the leg, okay? Whereas if I'm here, 2 arms apart from my opponent, right? Stretch your arm there, so you can see 2 arms distance, grabbing the leg, it's not going to be an option. To do that, if I do that, now check the mistake. Look where my shoulder is and where my hips are. I have no control whatsoever here. I'm not going to be able to be strong enough to control her leg. Okay? So this here is dangerous unless I go for the low single. For the low single, then I'm going to be here, but still, I'm keeping my hip and my shoulder really close together so I can take my opponent down. But if I'm trying to control the leg, for a single leg, cannot disconnect my shoulder from my hip. Okay? Any questions, people? Or are we good? Is everything unclear? I'm going to give you guys 1 minute to think. I know that I talked a lot, but I like to. Any questions? Or are you good? Good. I'm going to give you guys 1 minute to ask the questions. Could be from this position, could be from other positions as well. Whatever you want to ask. Okay, everyone, feel free. Otherwise, we're going to close the video for today. Let me know. Let me drink some water. Okay, people, since you're okay with this, I'm going to close. Tomorrow, we're going to talk from the bottom. We're going to talk about triangles. Why a triangle work? Is a triangle just a choke? What can I do from the triangle? What should I be paying attention? Same thing that we did with the single leg, we're going to do for the triangle tomorrow, because triangle is a very strong position to have. It's not just a submission, it's a very controlled position to be in. Okay, so people, let me know what you think about this content. I love talking about positions, so if you guys enjoy that, we can do more. All right, I love to nerd about Jiu-Jitsu, so let me know what you guys think. Dania, thank you very much for the help today again. Okay, awesome. Guys, thank you very much for tuning in. Kat, thank you very much for the question. If you want to send me other questions, feel free to do so. Awesome job, everyone. Have a good evening. Bye-bye. See each other tomorrow.